Hello. It is your favorite anime people, friends. Uh, Today we're talking about something that isn't shoes, something that isn't video games. We're talking about the Promised Neverland. Rob put me onto this maybe 2 years ago, and I didn't start watching it until last year. I binged what was 10 episodes of season one, if I'm not mistaken, correct?
Something like that. 10,
Something like that.
10 I think might have been 10, yeah.
And we want season two is out. They're 3 episodes deep, but before we get into season two, we wanted to give a brief recap, favorite parts of season one. Season one, I'm going to give my quick thoughts on the show, maybe not even a recap, and then I'll toss it to Rob. But season one of this show was just, it's something so different than what you're used to with, like, especially my style anime. I like the fighting stuff. I like the My Heroes, the DBZs, the One Pieces, Attack on Titan, but Attack on Titan out of, like, maybe outside of One Piece is so much deeper than DBZ and My Hero and stuff like that. This isn't your typical fighting anime, I guess. There's these things called devils. There's these children in a what seems like a foster home. And then there's a caregiver, right? The mom, called mom. There's one caregiver. So the first episode kind of just starts out as you're learning about these kids that are in a foster home that are going to school. And once they turn what age? 13, 12?
12 is the peak age, I believe. Yeah.
12 is the peak age. They are adopted by a family. And as that episode ends, some kid gets adopted and he leaves his stuffed animal, I think. And two characters, which will go on to be the main characters, go out to try to catch the kid in the family before he leaves to give him his animal. And they get to the gate and there's a truck, there's the kid's body, and then they hear noises, they hide under the truck, and then in come the devils. And then from there, it's a story of, what are these devils? What are they doing to these kids? What is the purpose of this house? And if you've seen Promised Neverland, you know all that. We're not going to, recap the whole show in 20 minutes. But I think the craziest part of that show in 10 episodes, like, you get that wow factor in the last 2 minutes. Because I had no idea where the show was going. I didn't know anything leading up to the show. Rob didn't spoil anything Rob is very good at not spoiling anything for animes, because, like, he'll read or he'll watch it and he just waits. Rob is like the ghost lurking in the dark, waiting for us to tweet about it, about how much we love it.
You gotta understand, man. Like, a lot of people are like, I don't care about spoilers, but for me, I'm very much a like those things like do it for me on a personal level when it comes to like anything, like endings and satisfying points. That's one of the reasons why I enjoy One Piece so much, because it's like so thorough that like there's payoffs everywhere, and I think I live for payoffs and shit. So like remember that this couple of weeks ago when I had like someone tweeted like, Attack on Titan is can have the worst ending and it'll still be better than Full Metal Alchemist, and I put like the condom could have yeah. Like, I think, like, in all this time, like, especially reading it and shit, Attack on Titan very well is probably already solidified in my top 5. But if it has an ass ending, then it's gonna drop. Like, I can't, like, that's just how I am. Like, endings matter, payoffs matter. So, like, when it comes to spoilers, I don't like to. I love to talk about it, but I don't like to. Because, like, for me, I know, like, I'm all about payoff. So it's like that's not gonna hit as hard. You know what I mean? Like, when we were playing Detroit, somebody like ruined the robot girl ending. So like when it happened, you were like, whoa, and I was just kind of sitting there.
It didn't hit that much.
It didn't hit as hard, you know what I'm saying? Like, so I'm very much one of those people. So
I think a little more of the first season of Promised Neverland, I think as the kids realized what was going on in season one, their end goal was to escape the house, because they knew what was going to happen to them. And the mom understood that these kids understood what was happening to them, but she was playing the long game and wanted to see, what they were doing, what they were planning. And there were a lot of, like, I think a couple kids died along the way. A couple kids got caught. The scene in the, in the calf when he lit himself on fire towards the end, the finale was great of their, like, great escape. Like, they planned for like 3 episodes, they would walk past the fence. There was a moment where this fence that they always said, don't go past it. If you go past it, something's going to happen. And one of the guys took a leap over the line you weren't supposed to leap over. And he was like, nothing's here. And so within like 2-3 episodes in the 10 episodes, they walked to the end and they found there was a wall. And over that wall was an abyss. And then over that was their escape into the world. And you know nothing about what's going on in the outside world in season 1 in Promised Neverland. All you know is that there's devils and that the world has been messed up for X amount of years. But my thoughts on season 1, it was a great season. It left you wanting more. I think that's the thing about I need in shows and especially in anime. It's like after one season, like you need that feeling of I want to watch this right now. I want that season right now. Not that like when I was telling you I was watching what is it, Sword Art Online. After like 5 episodes, they switched it up on you, and then you're just like, okay, I'm not really invested anymore. But I think that the purpose of that, like that's a different show though. Like that might have been a bad example, but like they have so many different worlds, realms, because it's based off of video games. Like it's a video game show. So it's like your open world story. The story can go this way and that way, but it's like there's no like continuation of it. There's no flow of it. After 5 episodes, it's a new flow, and it's just weird. And before we talk about season 2, like season 1, Promised Neverland, what did it do for you? What did you like about it? What did you hate? Maybe.
I mean, I don't have any negatives to say about it at all. I initially like this was like 2019, right? And I had recently, like the previous year, had gotten into like anime YouTube and like different like video essay videos and shit. And I think I was watching like a Mother's Basement video, and he was doing like a best anime this season or whatever.
Yeah.
And he had it on the list, and he kind of talked about how the moment in the first episode has you like hooked and shit. And I was like, okay, cool. And like Hulu and Funimation both had it on like the front page. So I was like, I don't have shit to do. Let me check it out. And like it's so crazy because everybody I showed it to literally like was so blindsided by it.
Yeah,
like,
I didn't expect it to be that.
Only one person, like, and they still didn't know, but like when I showed it to them, they're like, what genre is this? And I was like, just watch it. And they're like, this is too happy. Something's gonna happen. And I'm like, just watch it. You know what I mean? And then when you get to that moment, you're just like, what?
Yeah,
it's like that much of a like
so crazy
because it is like so happy that first episode, and then that shit happens at the end. And you're just like watching it now, especially knowing you can kind of tell it is almost too happy. But when you're watching it the first time, you're just kind of like, okay, this is a show. This is kids doing things. They're having a good time. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. But for me, it does a lot of shit well. Like, I think it's really well like directed.
Mm-hmm.
Like the way the shots they use, like they really are really good at creating tension
and
like,
capture the moment
where you're like really like on edge and shit. And I think the sound is great as well. Like like I remember that first scene when she's like looking at the stuff, and then like the mom's like next to her, like in her face, and like that noise. Like there's so many times during the show where like I literally was just watching it, and like I'm not in a fucking movie theater or anything. I'm just like in a seat watching, and I like literally like jumped because I was like, oh shit.
There's a lot of like scary jumpy moments in the show, at least the first season, I should say.
Yeah, they kill it on that type of shit. And then the music is just fire. The music is great. Like whether it's them playing tag and it's like more fun music, or even the music in the fucking last episode, like that shit had me emotional. I remember I was watching it on the plane from Seattle when the finale came out, and like I felt like such a goofy because I was like on my phone and the fucking played, and it was dark, so like of course you see the light in my face, and then the things are happening, and then the music's playing, and I just like felt my face like smiling because it was just so good. And I'm just like, oh, am I cheesing at my fucking phone right now? But yeah, no, it just like it ticks so many boxes like on when it comes to things that I like when I watch shows that I just think it's like really great.
Yeah.
Really well done.
So like I said, the end of the purpose of season 1 was to escape the home, and mom kind of comes to her senses after they escape the I guess, what is it? Not really a bridge. It's a dam. I don't know. Like they're on a cliff. It's a wall, and then it's just an abyss, and then another wall. And she chases after them. She realizes she can't catch them. They all get over. But but she still realizes she has like a couple kids left at the house that's burning down. And we haven't seen her yet in season 2, season 3, or season 2, episode 3. Like there's 3 episodes. The first episode is them being in a big forest. Everything is ginormous. Even like the plants, the trees, the world in general. It's the first time you see them outside of the walls of the house. And I think they start getting chased by devils, right?
Right away. Different creatures and shit out there, yeah.
And what is it? The reason they're chasing them isn't because they're scared to like let the message get out. It's because those kids are like worth like their brain or whatever. Because they're the top tier in the class. Yeah. And what is there significance behind like why they eat those kids? What does it do for the devils?
So another thing about the show that I think is also great that keeps you like hooked into it is that there's all this mystery and shit. Like, well, you know, like, oh, they're calling them demons and shit. But even like the one new one was like, oh, I haven't been called that in a while. Like, you know, so they're obviously something other than that. And then I think at one point they're talking about in season 1, they're talking to each other and shit. And they were talking about like a great harvest or something.
Yeah.
Or something. So clearly there's some type of event or moment in time that they're looking forward to. And so for these to be that important, then there obviously is some correlation, but like we don't know for real. We just know they eat the brains and that the smartest brains are the best brains, and this farm makes the best fucking kids and shit. So
and so the kids in their journey into the new world, I guess, they are chased, but then are helped by 2 demons themselves. And for no reason in episode 1 and 2, do these demons want to eat them or anything. They just want to help them get through the fight and whatnot. And, you know, they stay underground with the demons. They're fed, they're trained. They do reconnaissance missions to see what's out there just in case. And I think it's the start of episode 3 where they finally break off with the demons, and the guy demon is like, I'm not going to eat these kids, but I can't wait to eat them later, because he's waiting on them to like reproduce.
Yeah.
And it was kind of like a weird moment, because then he just went back in the forest, killed the other demons. It's like, you want to eat these kids, but you're still killing your own kind. Like,
so like that part hurt, because I was like, oh man, he's a cool dude.
That's what I didn't see that coming, to be honest.
I thought it was too good to be true. Same. But like I thought it would be like a different like thing. Like maybe he was. I knew that at least him, because they had a couple shots where he was kind of like looking over at them and shit, where I felt like, okay, he's like helping them, but he has ulterior motives for sure. I didn't think it was like, oh yeah, I still eat these motherfuckers. It's
like this man was salivating when they were walking off. He's like, I can't wait.
Yeah, because I guess their reason for not eating demons is like religious purposes. Like they don't eat, like, I forgot what he described it as, but he said like, these humans are like farm grown, and he can only eat like natural humans, and the new ones will be natural. So when they
so you even have a cult religion aspect put into the show now. Demons.
So I assumed he went back and killed them to make sure that the other ones wouldn't die, because they're going to keep hunting them. I think that was that's how I interpreted it.
Yeah, he didn't want them to find them eventually. But it still was kind of weird seeing that a demon was helping them get to their, I guess, endpoint, which was they had that pen that gave them the coordinates to be something. And then it was for that Mr. Minerva guy or something. I might be pronouncing his name wrong. And, you know, episode 3, they're walking, they're on their trek to the coordinates. They're in the middle of nowhere. What's Norman checks the pen, or that's his name? Or did Norman die? What's the other guy's name?
Ray.
Ray checks the pen. And he's like, we're here. And it's just land. There's nothing around them. And then out of nowhere, they discover the underground passage. And from there, they go down, and it looks like the house 2.0. But instead, it's like an underground bunker and shelter, which they do the same thing they did in season 1. Everything seems good. You know, they're enjoying the warm water. They got food. They got books. And then it's a underground tunnel that they find that they kind of brush off, which I was like, okay, this is something's going to happen here. But then there's that other part where that little girl is staring into the wall and in the room, and there's blood on the wall, and it's like, what was it, help us or something?
Yeah.
And then all those kids freak out, and then you could talk on that because the next part is kind of like the end of that episode.
Well, yeah, no, they kind of happen together, like, and it's like, it's one of those things where I was watching it and, like, I'm like notorious for like when I love some like manga anime or whatever to like go ahead and just read it. And I like been resisting reading this one because I feel like so much of what makes it good is like the mystery and the tension behind it, especially with the way it's like made and shot. It's like, sure, there's mystery in everything, but sometimes it's like, all right, cool, I'll just read ahead because I just want to know. While this shit, it's like the way they frame it adds to it. So that's why I've been resisting. And so watching the first 2 episodes, it was like kind of tense, but like, especially there was still a couple moments where I was like, oh shit, like the way they did that was cool. But it was very much just kind of like, okay, things are happening. You know what I mean? While this was one of those moments that kind of felt like season 1 again, where I was just like, oh shit, like it's like, whoa, give me more, like what's happening, like everything wasn't sweet the whole time, but they were just kind of going through the motions. While in season 1, it very much was like, what you're doing is unsafe. You know what I mean? Like, be careful. While before the first 2 episodes, it was like they kind of had the demons with them, and they were kind of just like running and shit. Like it was like, intensity in the air, but like this was one of the moments where it was like, oh shit, and you're underground in this thing, so you guys have to like, I don't know what's gonna happen now, you know what I mean? And then dude was on the phone, or maybe he was on the phone, I don't know.
Yeah, so the ending of the episode is that they find a phone. Dude, that door reminded me of the whole door thing in Attack on Titan. Like that was honestly the first thing I said. The basement, yeah, because the way the frame was, the steep stairs, and then a door, and I'm like, is this Attack on Titan? Like, what am I watching? And I was like, what are they gonna find in this basement? And so they open the door. There's a payphone on a wall, and there's probably 20 seconds left in the episode, and it rings. And the girl picks it up, and it's the guy's voice, allegedly, that they've been looking for. Like, he left them a note, this is your place to stay. But they finally hear his voice, and the episode cuts. From what, and this is my just guess, from what we've seen in 13 episodes, anytime a phone or a radio is involved, the demons have, the upper hand in regards to technology, especially in this area. Because they're not too far from the house yet, at least, I don't think. So I'm guessing this is going to be the demon's way of like, are these kids here? Did they find it? And if they're there, they're going to answer, and we know how to get them. We'll just go through the tunnels. That's like the most basic form of it for me.
Yeah, I was going to say, it just seems like too good to be true. Like,
yeah, easy.
So yeah, that's my thing. Like, is the Minerva guy even good? Is he bad? Like, is he working with them, or is he working against them?
Or is he even just made up that they made up?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, well, on top of that, it's like, like these demons, like they just call them demons, but they obviously have names. So like, is he like actually human? Like, or is he like working with the demons? And then like the fact that they're in this bunker, it's like, yeah, you could stay here. Like,
but what happened to that last group of kids?
Exactly, what happened to the last group? Yeah, there's a help thing there. So something is it like
happened? There's blood on the walls.
Yeah, is it like, oh, you can? Is this like a oh, here's like a alternate?
There's a 10-minute break. We're gonna come kill you later.
Alternate housing area, like they used to use and is abandoned or something, but they still check back on. Like, you don't know whose it is. You're just kind of assuming the best, or maybe it is good, but like they just found it. The other guys found it, so they use it against them, and now he's calling to check if anyone's there. Like, yo, get out! Like, who knows?
Yeah,
we gotta wait. But like, it's a lot of shit,
Yeah, and it's only 3 episodes in, and I think they're gonna do another 10 episodes. I think something I missed was what was it? They were talking to the demon before, the one that was helping them, the historical timeline of how the world got to the way it was, and he was like, "What do you know about the outside world?" And he was like, oh, it was 1,000 years ago, I think what's his name said. And he was like, oh, you're so wrong. Like, this is over a 3,000 year thing where there was a peace treaty of the humans get this side of the world, the demons get this side of the world, and the only time we can eat humans is if we farm them. And I think the Great Purge or whatever that they're talking about is going to be like their yearly, okay, we get to farm and harvest humans again for our reset to put more in the houses. And like there's like that phone call check-in when they found the radio. There's still, and we knew this in season 1, obviously, but there's still like so many different houses because now like their plan is to go save the kids at the burnt down house and bring them to where they are. But will they even follow through with that? Will they even make it out of this bunker? I hope it's not a whole season of them in this bunker. I hope like it goes to shit in 2 episodes and then they're figuring it out again.
I was about to say, I doubt it. I feel like it'll be what you said. I feel like maybe they'll have an episode or 2 in the bunker where like maybe they get caught there and they have to like sneak out or
plan it,
maneuver out or some crazy shit.
Right.
But yeah, it's gonna be crazy. I don't know what happens then. I have no idea, honestly. Like, and what's crazy too is like because of I've been like following random like creators and shit of different communities, and I follow a bunch of like anime creators now, and like I'm like almost getting spoiled on certain things with this now too, and I'm like, damn it, why does stuff have to get popular? Like this was safe before. Yeah.
So well, how far is the manga?
Manga's finished.
Oh shit.
Yeah, it finished last year sometime, I think.
How long? So what is this, like a 3-season show, 4-season show? Do you think?
It depends on how long the seasons are, I think. So I think it's like something like upper 100s, lower 200s on chapters.
And you haven't read ahead?
I did not. No, I initially read up to, because I debated it for a long time, then I stopped myself. But I read up to when they like explained the world to them. After that, I didn't read anything else.
You stopped then?
Yeah, so.
Oh, you better not read ahead because then we're not going to be able to do this.
Facts. Yeah, no, I'm chilling on that one.
I just hope like I want to see what happens with their possible track of them going back to the first farm to finding the rest of their friends. But I think if they do so, there might be like a wild card of like the mom helping them, or maybe she is a demon. I don't know. Maybe like she's a demon in a human form. That's what the other lady seemed like.
The only thing right now that I am very much interested in more than anything is Norman, because 100% he didn't actually die. Like,
I don't think so either. He's gonna show up out of nowhere.
Well, because like in the anime, when he gets taken, he just kind of gasps, but in the manga, he says what? And so like clearly he sees something that like throws him off, versus like when the first kid got taken, she just got like
insta kill.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So like they took him in versus like,
and he was like, wait, are you showing me something?
Yeah, they took him in versus the other child who they just straight up like ended her in the truck. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just curious as to what he saw, where he is, and how he plays into the later parts of the story, whatever that means.
Yeah. I think the thing I'm starting to pick up on is like the characters and the interest that, or the focus that's on them. You can tell like majority of the characters except Ray and what's the girl's name?
Emma
are indisposable. Like everybody else, there's like very little.
I was about to say,
connection.
They've been giving more kids lines, because I'm like,
yeah, they've been giving more, but not a lot.
I didn't see your hair before, and I haven't seen your hair before. Yeah. You're new kids to replace my guy Phil, the goat.
Oh, the goat, poor Phil.
Bro, like, and that's the thing too. Like, again, like me on my like anime YouTube shit. Again, it was a different Mother's Basement video where he talked about how, based on the camera angles and all the other shit they use in season 1, how Phil knows the entire time, and if you go back and rewatch it, you can see how he reacts differently than other kids. Yeah. Like he like knows from like episode 1, and like it's insane. And so that's one of those things where it's like, yo, like when I watch it, I try to pay attention to even subtle things like that, because they're like clearly like putting a lot of effort and like just detail into how they're making this thing happen. So it's crazy.
There is definitely a lot to come out of this show. I mean we recapped everything in depth pretty much. They're not going to make this a whole hour-long episode on Promised Neverland until the next. We'll probably do every 2 episodes or every 3 like this, just to do a big synopsis. But if there is nothing else, you have for this, Rob, or if there's anything you want. What is the one word for this show that would get people to watch it if you had to tell them, like, in one word?
One word?
Or maybe a phrase. I don't know. One word. If they were on the fence about watching the show, what would you tell them outside of just watch it?
I mean, I think this show just like works on so many levels, and if you're into
suspense and horror,
yes, if you're into suspense, I'd say suspense more than horror. But yeah, if you're into suspense, like it does it better than a lot of like shit movies do. You know what I'm saying? So,
well, Fergs, I don't know if you want to close this because I opened the king of no. Like I said in my other shoot video, we don't know how to close or open. Yeah, that is the Promised Neverland in 20 minutes or less, however long this is going to be. Just watch it. There's a lot of good anime out right now. This is probably one of the top ones. Rob is going to tell you to watch One Piece, so you can give your spiel on One Piece if you'd like.
Oh man, One Piece is great. You're not going to watch it, but you should watch it.
You're not going to watch it, but you should watch it. That is Rob's spiel for One Piece. Everybody, go watch One Piece. And if you're like me and you can't get past 220, it's okay. Mikey is out on Twitter slandering it. Rob is crying.
He's tweaking, bro.
And
even let it get good, bro. He's tweaking.
It's boring to one of our friends, and Rob is not happy about that.
No, that early shit's pretty boring. It is.
I'm not gonna lie. You got to get to like the 300s,
bro. It gets fire at like 30, bro. She's stabbing her arm, bro. And he puts the hat on her head. Come on, bro. Tears.
We're gonna do a One Piece video just to have Rob. We're doing a why you should watch One Piece video. How about that? That would be the next one. This is gonna be Rob's moment to shine, and I'll give my 200 episode knowledge, and Rob is gonna just do it,
bro.
You think you could do it?
No, I can't do it, bro. What am I
gonna do it. Why should we watch One Piece,
bro? Because like one, I've watched too many why you should watch One Piece videos for me to ever have an original idea, bro. That's why I tried to start it. Honestly, like
thing,
like I saw that video and like two other videos when I was like on this like binge like 2 or 3 years ago. Remember, I was like, yo, we should like do One Piece. Like before, I was slandering One Piece too because like remember I used to work at the YMCA, right? And these fucking kids. Like they're fucking kids, like fucking losers, right?
Fucking kids.
Yeah, right. So, like like, oh, you guys watch anime? I'm like, yeah, we do that. We're fucking cooler than you.
When they turn 25, they're gonna be watching anime too.
Yeah. They're like, oh, for sure. Like, because I started watching like a little earlier than them, around that age too. And they're like, oh, what do you watch? I'm like, oh yeah, when I was a kid, I used to watch like Naruto all the time. You're like, you watch Naruto? You should watch One Piece. I'm like, One Piece? Are you fucking kidding me? I'm a fucking adult. I don't have time for. At the time, it was like 700 episodes. I'm like, isn't it only halfway there? At like
now it's at 1,000.
Yeah, like I'm like, I don't have time for One Piece. I'm an adult. I have a life. And then we got put into lockdown, and I caught up. But the kids were right. Gentlemen, the kids were right. Trust the kids, y'all.
Yeah, trust the kids. Even though we just said fuck them kids. Anyways, when you're done with Promised Neverland, Attack on Titan,
easy investment. There's only 10 episodes. 13 episodes.
13 so far. Attack on Titan isn't too long either. Fire Force is heat, but it's kind of losing me. I might have to go into further detail later on. Fire Force is good as well. What else is there? Dr. Stone, I know Rob, you haven't watched that yet, right? He probably won't. And what's the basketball one you told me to watch?
Kuroko's Basketball.
Kuroko's Basketball allegedly is heat, according to Rob, which is probably it's just full of memes.
That shit goes crazy.
It's just full of memes. See,
it's so good, bro.
It's cringeworthy, full of memes. That's why it's
so good. It's so fire, bro.
No, it's not.
Bro, I guarantee you, bro. If you watched it, you'd be like, yo, this shit kind of decent.
What's it on Hulu?
It's on Netflix, bro.
All right,
it's dubbed on Netflix. Bro.
I'm gonna stop watching Yu-Gi-Oh because I'm trying to get caught up in Yu-Gi-Oh. I'm about to watch all the other Yu-Gi-Ohs too and hurt Rob's soul. I don't know.
Stop after GX, bro.
I heard the one after that is really good.
5D. I didn't get into it because they were fucking like driving motorcycles. I thought it was weird. I hear it's okay too though, but I never got into it.
See, this is grown men at 28 watching anime nonstop. There's nothing left to do in this world. Shout out COVID. But anyways, it's been fun, Fergus, as always. Thank you for hopping on the sporadic call. And we will either be back with a video game or another anime nonsense video. I'm going to binge watch this this basketball show, and we're gonna do
Fab, please.
Can we do one? How many episodes is it?
26.
As 30 minutes?
Yeah.
I'll be done by tomorrow. All right. So I'm gonna watch that right now, this second, and we are going to do a video on this basketball show. What's it called again?
Karugo's Basketball.
Karugo's Basketball. So stay tuned for the slander video of this and why I'm going to be so mad I watched 26 episodes of this.
Yo, you're not gonna be mad. You're gonna be like, damn, where's the sub at? I gotta watch more.
Is it dubbed?
Yeah, it's dubbed on.
That's done
Netflix.
in one day. That's done in one day. All right. Well, it has been fun. Fergus, I will talk to you later, and we'll see you soon. Peace.
All right.